first of all, we'll start our HTML course with the one question: what is HTML? So HTML means it's an standard language for creating the web pages. Okay, let's assume when you want to build a website like e-commerce website, whatever, or any real estate website, you need to create a structure of that website. Okay, so like when you're trying to build build the foundation of your building, you have to build a structure of your building first. Okay, so it's like this. You need to build the structure when you want to build the website. Okay, so that's why HTML will help you when you want to build the structure of your website. It's never going to design, it's never going to provide you the design and then interactivity of your web application. It will just provide you the structure of your application. Okay, so what is the acronym of HTML? So the acronym of HTML is a hypertext markup language. That means it will provide the markup. It's in a markup language for provide the structure of your website. Okay, so when you want to build any kind of website, it will give you the structure of your website. With the help of HTML, you can create the structure of your website or your web page or website. That's it. So now we'll understand how web works. Okay, so now I will start this tutorial with the imaginary example. Okay, so first of all, when you type something into the URL of a browser, okay, let's assume when you type something like a google.com, like google.com. Okay, now make the text a bit bigger, google.com in the URL, and then what will happen? So, okay, now your URL, that means that your address doesn't know anything about the IP address of Google, right? So that's why you need to use the one called the DNS server. Okay, that means you need to call to what? You need to call to the DNS server. Okay, so now I'll call to the DNS. Okay, so now I'll write this. So with the help of DNS. Okay, DNS. What it does, okay, first of all, it will find out the IP address of the google.com. Okay, because when you type something into the URL, you don't know anything about the server, anything about the IP address of the google.com. So that's why you need to use the one service called the DNS. Okay, domain name systems. Okay, with the help of domain name system, domain name server, that will find the IP address of that particular domain. Okay, what you have searched into the browser. Okay, browser search bar. Okay, after that it will get the IP address. Okay, something like this. So something like 127.0.000, something like this. Okay, so you will get the IP address something like this. Okay, let's assume this is the IP address of Google. When you will get the IP address of Google, now you can simply, now you know the where server is located. Okay, now your web browser is know the where server is located. When you already have the IP address, when you have the location of the server, now you can literally do now you can send the request to the from client means your browser to the server. Okay, now let's assume this is the browser. Now this is your browser. Okay, browser. Browser. So now make the text a bit bigger. So okay, now this is the browser. Okay, so this is the browser. Now when you send something to the server, now you are making the request to the server of Google. Okay, for getting now you are making a request to the server of Google. Okay, so now change the text. So this is the server of Google. Now when you send a request to the server from the browser to the server of Google, Google will parse this request. That means first of all, it will verify the request, is it valid or not, is had an alt token or not. When it successfully verify you as an user, then it will send the response to the client. Okay, then it will send back the response to the client. That means client means the browser or mobile, whether you are browsing from the mobile devices or website, then or the laptop, nothing else. Okay, you are simply browsing through your browser or client, whatever that is. Client might be mobile apps, client might be your laptops or your browser. That's it. So for the time home, we are considering the browser. So now for the time being, we are considering the browser as a client. Okay, so this is simple things. Okay, nothing else. So after that, what it does, so it will send the response to the browser. Okay, so when you send the response from the server, you will get the three things. Okay, first of all, you will get what? You will get the HTML, CSS, and JS. Okay, so now make it bigger. When you'll get the three things, HTML, CSS, and JS. Okay, you will get everything in a streaming way. Okay, so now you can accept the HTML in a streaming because you don't have a time to wait for the old response from which is sent by server. That's why what you have to do, you will accept HTML as a streaming way. Okay, now browser will try to listen the response from the server one by one. Okay, first of all, when you get the HTML, okay, and then he will turn into this HTML DOM. Okay, after that, when you get the CSS and it's converted into CSS OM. Okay, this is called the object model. DOM is document object model. Okay, then finally the CSS DOM and CSS OM, okay, combine, create the render tree. Okay, so they will call this CSS DOM, HTML DOM plus CSS OM, combine, create the render tree. Okay, so this create the render tree. Okay, after successfully create the render tree, then means so it will finally render into the browser. It will, first of all, it will visualize and it will calculate the the painting area of your web application, sorry, painting area of the browser, and then finally when successfully everything fine, then you see yes, then it will finally render the HTML, document which is sent by server. This exact scenario is happening when you're trying to host something search into the web browser. Or this is okay, in my case we are taking Google as an example. It can be anything. It can be it can be Facebook, it can be YouTube, or it can be anything, right? So it can be example.com as well. Okay, so now we have taken Google as an example. Okay, so okay, let's recap this. First of all, what it does, so first of all, you have searched something into the Google again. So I know that you search something into the Google, inside the Google, and then it will resolve the DNS because your browser don't know anything about the IP address of your Google. That's why it will use the DNS server systems. Okay, domain name systems. Okay, so with the help of that, it will resolve the IP address of it. Okay, when it will get the IP address, that means when it will get the location of your server, that at that moment it can send the request to the server. Okay, so when it actually send the request to the server will accept that request and then finally validate it. When it's successfully validated, it will send the response to the client, send the response back to the client. Okay, so, okay, and then browser accept this response, and then it will render into the browser one by one. Okay, so it has a kind of bit of times because it will need to take the DOM tree. Okay, so first of all, it will need to create the DOM tree and then plus CSS OM. After that, it will combine, create the render tree. When it is actually create the render tree, and it will calculate the painting area in the browser, and then finally render inside your web application, and then you can see the visual of web pages. Okay, this exact scenario is happen inside our browser. Okay, so we have completed this chapter, how the web works. So now we'll explain the HTML versus CSS versus JS. Okay, so HTML, what is the meaning of, or what is the acronym of HTML? We already know about it because I have mentioned earlier. So the meaning of HTML is a hypertext markup language. Okay, that means it will create the markup of your web application. Okay, what about the CSS? CSS means the cascading style sheet. That means it will create the design of your application. Okay, you have successfully designed, sorry, you have successfully created the structure of your web application, but still you haven't provided the design of your application. Okay, when you haven't provided the design of your web application, it's never gonna look so good. Okay, that's why you have to provide the style. Okay, this styling part is called the CSS. With the help of CSS, you can provide the style of your web application. Okay, finally we have another one is called the JS. That means the JavaScript. Okay, so you have a structure, you have a design, but you don't have a interactivity. Okay, so for providing provide the interaction of your web application. Okay, let's assume you have a button. Okay, now you have one button. Okay, so hover me button. hover me. So inside that button, when you hover, this never gonna this is happen anything, or when you click this button, this nothing is happen. Okay, when you want to make it functional, when you want to make it interactive, you have to use JavaScript. Okay, for we use JavaScript only for what? We use JavaScript only for the interactivity, for the interaction of our web application. Okay, you can create, but by combining both, you can create a complete and production grade full stack application. Sorry, a complete production grade front-end applications. Okay, so by combining HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, but right now, so you can't use the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for creating the production grade application, because we have already a huge amount of frameworks and libraries available in the market, like Angular, React, Vue.js. Okay, all of those is so familiar and they're so popular in the market for building the production grade front-end application. Okay, but you need to know the basic of it. So that's why we are providing the I just want to give you the I just want to give you the idea about about HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, why you need to know HTML. Okay, then let's assume I want to build one e-commerce application. Okay, this is the one e-commerce application which I want to build, right? Okay, so inside it, so I have that one is a header. Okay, that one is a header. Inside that header we have a logo. Okay, that one is a logo. Okay, that one is a search bar, and then that one is called, okay, so now we have an action bar there. Okay, I have a 3. Okay, now I have an action bar in there. Okay, now after that, so I have a hero section. Inside a hero section, that one is a hero section. Okay, so that one is the feature section, and then finally that one is the footer section. Okay, that's it. Now that one is footer section. Now I have already defined the structure of my web application, but I haven't designed anything. Okay, now I need to provide the style. I need to provide the design of this structure. Okay, when you want to provide the the design of your structure, what you have created through the HTML, it's called what? It's called the CSS. CSS means you can provide the style of your structure. Okay, now you can provide the different, that's now for the simplicity. Okay, let's for this assumption, I just want to provide the different color of it, but you don't need to provide the different color of it. Now inside the hero section, I have a buttons. Okay, so this is the get started button. Okay, and this is the login and sign up button, so that, or whatever you consider. Okay, now when you click in that buttons, it's never going to happen anything there. Okay, so let's assume hover login, or I want to create, it's only what that will be so I can provide, get start. Okay, so get started. Now when you will click in get started button, it's never going to be happen anything there without using JavaScript. For that, you have to use what? You have to use the JavaScript for make it interactive. Okay, when you want to make something interactive inside your application, obviously you have to use the JavaScript. This is required, this is must. Okay, now we have successfully understand the differentiation between HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, because you need to know the differentiation between all of those, because this is the separation of your application. Okay, when you build the web applications for front end, you need to know the differentiation. You need to know the work of each of those each of those you know what I would say, so each of those libraries. Okay, so yeah, so I think we have fully completed. Continue with this course. We need we need the totals. First one is the browser. So first one we need what? First one we need a browser. It could be anything. So it could be Chrome browser or Google Safari or anything, whatever you have. Okay, now you need one tools called the browser, and next one is code editor. It could be anything, right? So my preferable one is Visual Studio VS Code. Okay, so because I love to code with the Visual Studio, so I'm the big fan of it, that's why I want to use the Visual Studio throughout the course. Okay, so first of all we need to install the browser, because I have already using the Brave browser, so that's what I'm gonna do. And we're gonna install one thing, because you already know that how to install the browser, because you're watching the tutorial right now, because you already have an idea about how to browse the internet. That's why you already know, you already install. You haven't installed anything about the browser, please do it first, then continue with this tutorial. Okay, Second, I'll show you how to install the Visual Studio. Okay, first of all, you have to search the VS Code download. Okay, so and then you will be head over. Okay, head over to the official site of Visual Studio. Okay, based on your systems. Okay, you can simply download the installer. Okay, so I'm browsing from the Windows, so that's why I will install that one. When you are using from the Debian, when you are belongs from the Debian, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Fedora or SUSE, you'll simply install all of those installer based on those. Okay, finally, if you are using if you're browsing from the macOS, obviously you'll install those Intel chip. Okay, based on your system, you can use the Intel chip, or you are browsing this from the Intel chip, obviously you'll install that one, or you are not from the Intel chip, you'll install the Apple Silicon. This is completely up to you, because based on your systems, okay. So after all of that, so because I have already successfully installed the Visual Studio Code, that's why again I'm gonna do it, because I'll show you how you can install after successfully download the Visual Studio in your computer. You need to install it. Okay, so how can you download? Okay, simply right click on the Visual Studio Code and run as an administrator. When you click run as an administrator, you will prompt it to yes or no. Okay, when you click the yes, you will prompt it to next. Okay, finally show the path where you want to install the Visual Studio. After that, this is absolutely same. Okay, nothing else. Okay, so all of this, once successfully install the Visual Studio Code, so you are good to go with this course. Okay, first of all, I want to create the folder. Okay, so now inside the YouTube tut, I want to create the one folder called HTML tutorial. Okay, so inside HTML, I want to open this folder inside the Visual Studio Code. Okay, how can I do? Simply press the code and the dot enter. Okay, so now this folder will be open up inside the Visual Studio Code. That's it. Okay, so now we'll continue after that. Okay, now simply trust. Okay, so yeah, we have successfully set up the folder and open up inside the Visual Studio Code. Now we'll continue further. Okay, now I will explain the structure of HTML document. Okay, so before proceed with the tutorial, first of all you need to understand the structure of HTML. So okay, without knowing it, this is quite impossible for continuing this course. Okay, so okay, this okay, first of all I will start by first line. Okay, what it is. Okay, so first of all you need to know this, because so is at start HTML document start with that one. Okay, doc.html. Okay, so doc.html means that it's tell the browser, hey, this is the HTML document. That's it. It's tell to the browser, this is the HTML document. That's why you need to type the doc.html. Okay, this is the HTML5 syntax. Okay, so this wasn't exist inside HTML4. Okay, and then we have an expression. So that one is, this is a starting tag of the HTML and then closing tag of HTML. Okay, when you will write the HTML, you have to use the two tag. First one is a starting tag and second one is ending tag. Okay, I'll explain details what is a tag and what is a starting tag and what is the ending tag. Okay, inside it you need to provide the content and what is HTML element. All of those I will explain in details throughout this tutorial in when we'll reach the specific tutorial or a specific chapter. Okay, now you need to understand this lang English. Okay, lang keyword. Okay, inside HTML starting tag, it has one attribute called lang equal en. Okay, en means the English. That means we are providing the default language of this document is what? The default language of this document is English. That's it. Okay, and then we have an head section. Head means the header of your HTML document. Inside header of the HTML document is so important, because it will help you a lot inside your for Google search result. Okay, when you want to make your website more SEO friendly, first of all you have to make your HTML heading element much more organized and efficient. Okay, without it, this is quite impossible to rank your website in the Google search list. Okay, it will help. Not only that, you can also provide the meta cursor. It has a meta title, meta description, meta keywords. All of those you will provide related to the search SEO. SEO means the search engine optimization related tag inside head. Okay, head element. Okay, so and then you have another tag. You can see that this is called what? This is the title tag. Inside the title tag you will provide the title of your document. Okay, it will show like this. Okay, inside on top of that. Okay, now you can see the complete HTML course outline. Okay, that's exactly like this. Okay, now it has another HTML course outline. So this coverage. Okay, this is called what? This is called the document. This is what? Document title. Okay, exactly like this. Now it has a starting tag, So it has an HTML starting tag. So now you can see this, that one is HTML starting tag, and that one is HTML head ending tag. That's it. Now you have a body. All of those things which will be shown inside your web page will be included, will be wrapping around inside the body tag. Okay, so what you will write inside everything, what you will write inside everything in the body, it will be it will be shown inside what, it will be shown in the web page. I think you got it. Okay, so this is the simple structure explanation of HTML structure. Okay, so now I'll explain the HTML elements and HTML structure. Okay, before explain the HTML element, I will explain the text. Okay, what is the definition of HTML text? Okay, so HTML text, okay, let's consider text as a label. Okay, so you can consider it as a keyword as well. So okay, now text will write that way. Okay, h1, this is the syntax for creating the tag. Okay, inside this it will tell the browser. Okay, so, okay, h1 is an HTML tag. Okay, this h1 tells to the browser what type of content inside it. Okay, so it will tells the browser the content inside this tag. Okay, that means I can store the content inside h1 tag will be the related to related to the heading. Okay, related to the heading. Okay, so this exact things will tell to the browser. Okay, you can also consider it as a label or as a keyword. Okay, I think keyword is a more accurate definition of it. Okay, HTML text tells to the browser which kind of content you are encapsulating inside the tag. That's it. So now we need to know the definition of element. Okay, what does it mean by element? Okay, when you have a complete structure of a start tag, ending tag, and a content is combined, all of those call the what? Combine all of those call the HTML element. That means we have an h1 starting tag. Now I will copy it and paste. Now I need to edit it. So now, okay, this one is ending tag. Inside it, when I put the content, this is heading. This is heading. Okay, now, okay, this one is heading tag. Okay, sorry, this one is the starting tag, and that one is ending tag, and that one is content. All of those is called what? All of those is called the HTML element. Okay, so yeah, okay, h1 is a heading element. It has a p element, so, and it has an image element, it has a video element. All of those is called the HTML element. Okay, when we will talk one specific keyword which is start with an angle bracket, it's called what? It's called the track. It's called the text tag. Okay, so text, what is the meaning of tag? Text tell to the browser, okay, what kind of content it can be encapsulate inside that. Okay, when you use the image, but you're never gonna be encapsulate the text. Okay, you have to encapsulate what? You have to use the image, exact image. Okay, when you use the video tag, obviously you have to encapsulate the video sources. Okay, you're never gonna use the text as well, or even you're never gonna use the image text inside the video. Okay, that's why you need to know the specification about the tag. So that's why we have explained about the HTML elements and tags. Okay, so now let's create the heading within HTML. Okay, first of all, we need to create the folder. Sorry, okay, I have already created a folder called the HTML. Inside it, I need to create one file. Okay, so I want to name it with index.html. That's it. After that, I need to create the structure for creating the HTML element inside it. Okay, so it has a simple shortcut. It's called the emet. Okay, so emet abbreviations, when it simply when you press the exclamation mark and simply enter, it will create the setup. It will create that simple structure. The simple structure of HTML will get automatically created for you. Okay, when you never wanted to create, so you can simply start with that way. So okay, so inside it, okay, HTML doc type. That's it. After that, you will start with HTML. Okay, sorry, so inside HTML, now I want to provide what? Lang keyword inside the lang. So I want to provide the English. Okay, en. That's it. Inside the en, so and provide head. Okay, so this is the head. The head is used for what? Head is used for only SEO friendly text. That's it. Inside it, I want to provide the title of the web page. Okay, now I provide the HTML course. Okay, that's it, HTML course. Okay, after that, I'm not going to provide anything, and no, I don't want to provide any meta tag as well. So meta, so it has a huge amount of text as well. Okay, meta compat. Okay, so meta, inside a meta, so I can provide the content. Okay, content will be anything, so like HTML course. Okay, and then meta meta keywords or area or meta type, meta description, meta keywords. You can provide anything inside it. Okay, this is completely for what? This is completely for the SEO friendly things inside your web browser, in the search list. So this is for the getting the abbreviation is, sorry, this is for the getting recommendation in Google search. That's it. Okay, now we'll need to start with the body tag. Okay, how can I start? So body tag, inside a body tag, all text goes into the body tag. It will be shown inside the web page. Okay, that's, I'll show you how you can run your web page. Okay, so first of all, what you have to do, so I simply start with this heading tag, h1 element. Okay, so this is the first heading. Okay, now I will run the web page. Okay, so you can run the web page is two way. Okay, so first of all, so you could copy the path. After copying the path, so now I want to run, so I simply paste it there. Okay, after that, now you can see that. Okay, now you can see the first heading. Now inside what you are seeing there, this is the document title, HTML course. Okay, that's exact thing showing inside that. Okay, that's that exact thing showing inside this. Okay, that one is representing that heading, that title representing this one. Okay, so okay, that one is called the favicon. So okay, I'll create the favicon when I'll bring the CSS course, then I'll provide the how to create the favicon there. Okay, so you can simply provide the link inside that when you add the favicon, so it will also replace with the favicon icon. That's it. This is so simple, nothing difficult in there. Okay, after that I will create the 6 heading. Okay, so S1, S2, S3, S4 and S5. Okay, based on the level you can create the heading of your of the section of the article of anything. Okay, so now I will create the 6 heading there. Okay, so first second one is S2, second heading. Okay, after that I will create the S3. This is the third heading. After that I want to create the S4. So inside S4 I create the fourth heading. Okay, and then so then I'll create the fifth heading, S5. So S5, so fifth heading. Okay, so and then finally I will create the sixth heading, H6. Inside of this 6 I will create the sixth heading. Now you can see the sixth heading. First of all I will create the sixth heading. After that you can see the size, you can see the height of it. Okay, now simply press it. Now you can see that. Okay, now you can see the font size of this is completely changing, so based on the label. Okay, based on the size. Okay, when it's getting decreased when I'm using the S2, S3, S4, S5 and 6. Okay, when I'm moving lower, again the size is decreasing. Okay, so this is the one of running the HTML file. Okay, we have another solution of running the HTML file. Okay, now you need to install the one extension inside Visual Studio. That name is Live Server. Okay, Live Server. So inside the Live Server you need to install that plugin. Okay, so that extension inside your Visual Studio Code. When you successfully install this extension inside your code, you will get the icon like this. Okay, this is called the Go Live. When you click on the Go Live button, it will open up your browser. So it will open up inside your browser. That's so simple. I can easily get started with this simple extension. Okay, and I know this is pretty handy when you are used with these things. Okay, so I think we successfully understand how heading work in HTML. Okay, it has a 6 heading, so based on the level it will move to the decrease. Okay, when you are the S1, the first heading, when you use the heading 2, when you use the S2, the font size of the S2 is less than the first one. Okay, that means the heading 1 like this, it's keep decreasing when you move to the S6. Okay, so we have successfully completed the heading of HTML. Okay, so now I'll explain the bold, strong, italic and emphasize word. Okay, so emphasize tag. Okay, what it does and what is the purpose of all of those. Okay, so the bold means it will visually make your text bold. Okay, strong, it has a secret meaning. That means it's used for the SEO. Obviously the bold and strong is literally the same for the in case of visual. Okay, but it has a key difference. That means the bold it's not used for, that means this is not user friendly. So at the same, sorry, this is not a screen reader friendly and not for the SEO. Okay, but in case of a strong, it is completely recommended way by the HTML, which is used for the SEO, and it's helpful for the screen reader. That means when you will when your web page gone through the web readers, that means it will check their strong tag. Okay, when you'll get the strong tag, then it will get the better priority and better result for the SEO than the bold words. So that's why HTML is also recommended to use the strong tag when you have some strong suggestion. In case of italic, okay, italic, why we need to use the italic? Okay, italic is used for the style purpose, or make your text italic. Okay, okay, let's assume when you are creating one article, inside it, it has a kind of it has a coded text from the any foreign language you want to quote it from somewhere. Now you want to wrap up inside your paragraph. For this purpose, you can use the italic text for make your text italics. And emphasize word, again, emphasize word has a meaning. That means it is recommended by the HTML teams. Okay, so it will, again, it has an SEO friendly, this tag is SEO friendly, and it also give the priority for the screen readers. Okay, so I will explain. I have already explained the purpose of bold, strong, italic, and emphasize words. Okay, now let's head back to the code, and I will show you how you can create your how you can create the tag. How you can create the text. Okay, so now, okay, let's assume. So now I want to create the S1. So okay, first of all, I will create what? So sorry. So that one what? So okay, so basically, first text is a bold. Okay, so first of all, create the bold. Is it bold? Okay, this is bold. This is bold text. Okay, so now I will open up the browser. So and then I'll show you the result. Okay, now you can see the text is bold. Now again, I will create the another element with the help of a strong tag. So inside a strong. So with the help of a strong, inside a strong, I will provide the tag content. This is a strong text. Okay, this is a strong text. That's it. Now let's again open up the browser and see the result. Okay, now as you can see, okay, by the way, so I will give the one information about it. Bold and a strong, all of those are inline elements. Okay, that's why it is showing one after another. Okay, when you want to show the one next to one, so you need to use one HTML element. This is called the bracket element, which we have seen earlier. Okay, but now it will start from the next line. Okay, that's it. Now this was a bold. Now you can, as you can see that, so a bold and a strong, it doesn't have any, or it doesn't have any difference. Okay, for in a visual. Okay, but it has a meanings in a secret. Okay, so when you want to make your website rank on a Google, so that moment this is so SEO friendly, and by the way, it's also recommended by the HTML team. So that's why you will use a strong over the bold tag. Okay, at the same time, this is a screen reader friendly. Only your website is gone through the screen reader, that at that moment it will recommend it. Okay, through the screen reader. That's why this is so important, and this is pretty used to. Okay, over the HTML bold. Okay, now I will explain the next tag. It's called the italic. Okay, how can I make the something italic? That means italic format. Okay, so inside italic, so I will provide this is italic text. Okay, now let's open up the browser and see the result. Okay, so again this, okay, now you can see this is make a kind of okay, so this is completely italic format. I have to make the text in italic format. Now you can see that the result is exactly like the italic format text. That means when you are coded something in a foreign language and you want to show in your web page, you can use that exact tag. Okay, for make your for showing your foreign language inside this. Okay, again I want to use the bear tag for start the line from the next. Okay, so after that you can see that's exactly the same. And finally I will use the one most important text called the emphasize em text. Okay, inside the em text, this is called the emphasize text. Emphasize text is also give you the emphasize the text. By the way, it's also recommended by the HTML team for make your text SEO friendly. At the same time, it also give you the result in screen readers. Okay, so I'll give this is emphasize tag. This is emphasize text. Okay, so again let's open up the browser and see. Okay, now this is emphasize tag. Now it will give the emphasize. So again it has a difference. Okay, BR. Okay, now I found it there. Now you can see that's italic and emphasize text doesn't have any difference, okay, for in a visual, but still it has a difference in behind the scene of this. Okay, when you want to get your the better search result in the Google search, obviously you have to use the emphasis over the italic text. Okay, that's why this is so useful. This is so useful for the screen reader. This is so useful for the SEO, for make your website much more visible inside the Google search list. That's why this is useful. Okay, now I have successfully explained the bold, strong, italic, and emphasize keywords. Okay, so we have successfully knowledge about all of those texts. Okay, so bye. Okay, so now I'll explain the pre-formatted text, that means the pre-text. Okay, so before understanding this text, you need to understand why we need it. Okay, so okay, let's assume, so I want to print the space. So okay, now I want to delete everything. Okay, now I want to delete everything except the first. Okay, so now I will delete everything. So okay, now I want to create the one p-tag. Okay, inside the p-tag, so I have created this is para, this is para tag. That's it. Okay, now I will open up the browser and see the result. Okay, now it's showing that this is para. That's absolutely fine, and also given the expected result. That's it. Okay, now I want to create some white spaces. Okay, so the white spaces there. Okay, so now again I want to create some white spaces. Okay, now I will open up the browser once again. Now see, so there's no senses. Okay, because why? The browser will preserve all of these spaces. Okay, that means the browser will remove the white spaces. Okay, browser will remove the white spaces, but in case when you want to show all exactly as what you have inside the content, at that moment you have to use the pre-tag. Okay, that means I want to show the spaces. Okay, at that moment you have to use the pre-tag. Okay, now I need to remove it. I'll use the pre-tag. Okay, inside the pre-tag, this is pre-tag. Okay, now I want to create the tab. Okay, so now it will show you exactly like this. Okay, what I have written inside the content. Okay, that's okay. Now you can see that. Now browser, let's stay with this. Okay, now hey, this is the pre-tag. That's why I'm gonna be preserve the space. Okay, so that's why we needed the preserve. So we needed the pre-formatted tag. Okay, I think you got it. Okay, now I'll explain the block element and inline element in HTML. Okay, so first of all, you need to understand what is block element and what is inline element. Okay, so I have already mentioned earlier, the block element will take the full width and start with the next line. Okay, so let's assume when you have seen the p-tag tutorials, you have already know about the block element and inline element. So I have given something wrap around about the block and inline element. Okay, now I'll explain details about the block and inline element. Okay, what is the meaning of block element? Okay, so especially block element means it will start the full width of parents. That means when you create the one element, it will take the full width of its parent. That means when you will create the p element and you will provide the text inside that p, it will take the exactly as element of this body. That means body is the parent element. Body has a full width. Okay, at the same time, so it's never going to take the full height. Okay, it will take the full width. Okay, let's talk about the inline element. Inline element take the as space as needed. That means it will take the width that means it will take the full width of its content. Okay, so this is not a big deal about the block element and inline element, how you can know it. Okay, so this is the complete list of block element. Okay, so now so basically, so I have an address is a block element, article, it's in a block element, aside, it's in a block element, block code, canvas, dd, okay, deep, dl, dt, okay, then fill set, fig, caption, figure, all of those are block element. Footer, okay, footer is a semantic element, forms, s1 to s6, those are the heading I have already shown to you. Okay, and header, that was also semantic element. Like a horizontal, I haven't shown you yet, so okay, I'll show you in the next or upcoming tutorial. That's one of the list. Okay, main element, again that's one of the semantic. Nav, again that's one of the semantic tags. Okay, no script, ol, p, I have already shown you. The pre tag, again I have already explained about the pre. The section, I haven't shown anything about the section, how you can use it. Okay, I'll explain later or upcoming tutorials. Okay, and I've already explained the table. Sorry, I haven't explained about the table, but it will show you how to create. I will show you in upcoming tutorials how to create the table with the help of table text. Okay, and then also default the UL and video tag. Okay, all of those are what? All of those are the block element. Okay, it will take the full width when you will do something with those tag. Okay, then it will take the whole width of its parent. Okay, after that I have a inline element. Then it will take the space what it's needed. Okay, so it has a tag. Okay, a is a link tag. So still I haven't shown you, but in the next tutorial I'll show you how to use how to use the or create the link inside the document or outside of the document. That's it. And it has an abbreviation tag, acronym tags, B tag. Okay, B bold text. Okay, BDO bidirectional override, the big tag. Okay, BR tag, break tag, a button tag, cite tag. Okay, citation for creating the citation, the code tag for creating the code inside it, the definition, emphasize I have already explained, italic I have already explained, image I haven't shown you before, I haven't shown you yet. Okay, I'll show you in the upcoming tutorials. Okay, it's an input tag, KBD, label, map. Okay, object, output, queue, sam, script, select, small, span, strong, sub, so. Okay, add all subscript, and then one is superscript in the tax area, time, tt, and bar. All of those are what? All of those are the inline element. Okay, I have already also I haven't explained those, but in the upcoming tutorial I'll explain one by one. Okay, each of those tags. Okay, so now we have still understand the difference between the block element and inline element. Okay, and I have already you have already seen the text. Okay, what are the block element tag and what are the inline element tag? So now I'll explain the HTML anchor tag, what it does and how can I create the HTML anchor tag. Okay, HTML anchor tag means it will create the hyperlinks inside your web apps. Okay, so I'll show you through the code. Okay, first of all I'll delete everything. So now I'll create the structure of HTML once again. Inside it, so I will create the HTML anchor tag. Okay, so so you can create the anchor tag through the tag. Okay, inside it you need to pass the URL. Okay, what it does, it will go to the another web page. So the web page means it could be the another website, it could be the Google, it could be Facebook, it could be YouTube. Okay, by clicking that you can move, you can directly land to that page. Okay, let's assume I want to provide the link of Google, https slash www dot https colon slash google.com. Okay, this is the link of Google. Okay, now Google, when I click in that link it will be landed to the Google. Okay, so now refresh it. I click in that, it will land it to the where? It will land it to the Google. Okay, so I think the link was the wrong. So okay, let's do it. www.google.com. Okay, let's find out the google.com. So google.com. Okay, so by clicking there, it's in a link of Google. So okay, now I want to find the link of Google. Okay, so that this is the exact link. Sorry, so that was the link. So I just mistyped. That's why shown there. Okay, now I need to replace it with the exact what I have copied from there. Okay, now let's remove it. Now open up the Chrome. Sorry, open up the Mozilla once again. So okay, close it. Now rerun it once again. So okay, rerun it. Okay, by clicking that you will be landed into the Google page. Okay, so let's see. Okay, now you can successfully land it to the another web page. Okay, so with the help of anchor tag you can move to another phase. Okay, now I want to move to the another I know I want to move to the another web I want to move to the another section inside the same phase. How can I do? So first of all you have to create the sections. Okay, so I just want to create the section. Okay, inside the section you need to provide the ID. Okay, ID. So then it could be the features. Inside a feature, when I will click the feature attack, inside the attack okay, so inside the app, so it will call the feature. Okay, now I will target what? I'll target the feature by clicking by targeting the ID. You have to provide what? You have to provide hash, and after that you need to provide the name of the ID. That's it. Now it will be it will be target the hashtag. Sorry, it will target the section of feature. That's it. So and then I can name it feature. This is feature section. Okay. Now let's open up the browser and let's see the result. Okay. So let's head back to the previous result. Now open browser. Okay, this is when I click on the feature. So now as you can see that the feature ID is added to the URL. That means when okay, now you can see that it doesn't have any spaces in there. Okay, even it doesn't have a mass content. That's why it's not showing exactly in our expected way. That's why but you can see that now ID has been added to the URL. That means it already link up. That now we have another use case of anchor tag, and that one is now let's assume I want to create another file. It's called what is called the about.html. Inside it I'm going to create what? I'm going to create the syntax of HTML. After that, so inside it I want to pass some default text. Okay, h1 text. So inside h1 text, this is, by the way, sorry, so this is about about file. That's it. Now I can link up this inside a index.html file. Okay, how can I do? Well, let's remove everything. So inside it, now let's open a inside an a. Okay, in it will be what? It will be about.html, and then I will provide the name is about. That's it. Okay, so now let's open up the browser and reload it. Okay, so now when I click on, okay, let's remove this. That's it. When I click on this, now it give me what? About file. That's it. Now I have successfully created I have already you have already get an idea about the anchor tag of HTML, how to create the hyperlink, and how you can jump into the another section within the same page, or how you can jump to the another web page outside of this website. Okay, so I have shown everything with the help of HTML anchor tag. Okay, so okay, now when you will use the anchor tag, you need to provide the two type of URLs inside the href, whether it's an absolute or relative URLs. Okay, now you need to understand the what is the absolute URL and what one is the relative URL, and when you need to use the absolute URLs and when you need to use the relative URLs. One by one I will explain. Okay, so absolute URL means the full specifies the full web address. Okay, let's assume, so when we are working inside this is what? Okay, this is the complete. Okay, I'm providing the complete web address of a Google. Okay, when I'm providing the complete web address of a Google, it means that this is an absolute URL. Okay, I'm defining the absolute URL. Okay, that's why it's work from anywhere in the internet. Okay, when it's never gonna depend on your HTML phase. Okay, it's completely depend it's working in any phase. Okay, so after that we have a relative path. Okay, relative paths or the relative URLs. Relative URLs work in your current project. Okay, let's assume I have created another so I have created another file called the about.html. Inside an about.html I have also link up in there. Okay, this is a completely relative link. That means this link is included inside my current folder. Okay, or the current path. Okay, I need to provide the path of the current path. Okay, path of the current folder. Okay, that's why it's called the relative path, and that one is called the absolute path. Okay, I think you have an idea about what is the absolute path and what is the relative path or the relative URLs. So now I'll explain the target keyword inside anchor tag. Okay, so why you need to use it. Okay, first of all, when I click in a Google, so it will open in its current tabs. Okay, so when I click on a Google's, you can see that, so it's open up in the current tab. Okay, but I don't want that behavior. I want to open up in a new tabs. Okay, how can I save that behavior? If you want to save that behavior, you have to use the target keyword. Okay, so target attribute. After the target attribute, you have to provide the one below called the blank. Okay, when you provide the blank, so it will be open in a new tab. Okay, now let's back and reload. After that, when I click on a Google's, now it will open up in the new tabs. You can see also there. Okay, so this is the behavior of. Now it has one problem. So when I open up this in a new tab, it will get, now it has an access of the original tabs of this document. Okay, now you can sense the content of the original tab through JavaScript. Okay, window dot on opener. Okay, window dot on opener variables. Okay, but I don't want that behavior. If you want to stop this, you have to provide the one keyword, the rel reference policy no opener, no opener. Okay, so you have to provide this. Okay, when you provide this, it's never gonna be open. When you provide this, so okay, this never gonna open. Okay, it will open in a blank tab, but it's never gonna access the original content. Okay, in a new window. So that's why, and this is basically for the security purpose. Okay. Okay, sorry. So it will be the rel. Okay, so it will be the rel. Okay, so rel property. So rel attributes. Now I need to provide the no opener, and no rep. Okay, so now I need to provide the no opener. So now I need to provide the no opener, and the no referrer. Okay, that's the syntax of doing it. Yeah. You can also send the email through the anchor text. Okay, how can you send the anchor, or sorry, how can you send the email through the anchor text? I'll also show you that right now. It's okay. First of all, it's okay. I'll open up the anchor text once again. So after that, okay, so simply pass the content as an email. That's it, or send email. So whatever you want to pass. Okay, send email. That's it. Now you have to use one word. So inside is called the mail to. Okay, after the mail to, you have to pass the email name. Okay, how you want to send dot gmail.com. That's it. Okay, after that dot, and then you can send the subject. You can set the subject. How can I send this? Sorry, how can I set up the subject? So first of all, you have to use subject and then name of the subject. Okay, so it's simply hello, and then I want to also provide the body. So okay, so body will be I need help. Okay, that's it. So now you can send the email through subject and body as well. Okay, so this is the simplest way of sending the email through the HTML anchor text. Okay, so let's open up the browser and let's see the reload. Okay, and reload it. Now send email. I click the send email. Okay, so now it will pop up a one mailbox. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, or look, now you can see that this is the, okay, this is the two how we have set up in there. Now after that, so it has a body and it has a title. Okay, so you can also send the email through the HTML anchor or HTML hyperlink tag without opening in a new tab through the HTML anchor tag or hyperlink. So I'll show you how you can download the one resources. Okay, so it could be video, it could be images or something like a PDF as well. So how you can download that specific resources through the HTML anchor tag, I'll show you right now. Okay, first of all, you have to open up the anchor tag as well. So after that, you have to provide the link of that resource what you want to download through the anchor or hyperlink tag. Okay, first of all, I want to provide the a link of that. So okay, so this is the SAS PDF. Okay, that is specific PDF I want to provide as a resource in href. Okay, so SAS PDF, that's it, and then I want to make it downloadable. Okay, so that's why I need to provide one attribute called the download. Okay, so let's remove it. Now I need to provide the tag, sorry, I need to provide the content inside the anchor. So okay, what will be the content? So it should be the SAS guideline. Okay, guidelines, that's it. Now let's open up the browser and reload it. When I click on a SAS guideline, it will be downloaded. Okay, so okay, now you can see now it's downloaded. Okay, now you can also open the file. Okay, now you can open up the file. So okay, so you can completely open up, so you can download it by yourself. Okay, so this is so simplest way of using the download keyword for downloading any resources through the HTML anchor tag or hyperlink. Okay, now I will show you how to show the image in a web page. Okay, so with the HTML img tag. So by the way, img tag, so it's in a self-closing tag. That means it's in a void, it doesn't have an end closing tag. Okay, it's used for showing the image in the web page. That's it. Okay, how can I open up the image tag? Okay, let's simply use image and enter. Okay, now it has a two attribute. One is the source, another one is alt. Okay, source is how you have to provide the path of the image. Okay, how your image is located, you need to provide that exact path. Okay, this is the one way. So and then how you want to provide the image which is hosted in any server. So that means it's on the internet. When you want to show something from the internet, obviously you have to provide that exact absolute path inside the source. Okay, so after that we have an alt means the alternative text. When image is failed, at that moment all text will be shown in the web page. Okay, so I'll show you both. So first of all, I will start with the image source tag. Okay, now I need to provide the path of the image. Okay, so I have already already taken image from the internet. So okay, I'll show you how you can set in there. Okay, inside a source attribute, I need to provide the path of that exact image. Okay, so then image.png, that's it. After that, so I want to provide. So okay, now for the time being, I want to delete the alt tag right now. Okay, now let's open up the browser and see. I can show the image is huge. Okay, it's taking the full width of it. Now you can set the width and height of that image. Okay, how can I do? So you can provide the width and height attribute as well. Width 500, height 500 as well. Okay, you can also provide the height as well. Height will be the 500 as well. That's it. Now you can see this. The image is taken small. Okay, image also became the small. Now obviously now the ratio of the image is not a correct, but image is getting smaller, okay, than before. So we have another word. Okay, let's assume by any chance image is not found. Okay, so I have another. Okay, this is the wrong part of the image. Okay, when image is not found, I want to show the alternative text of it. Okay, so this is AWS image. Okay, that's it. So when I open up the browser, so now you see the AWS image is shown, because the image is that one, that exact path is a completely wrong path. That means image is not found. When image is not found, the alt text will be the shown in the web page. Okay, that's exact things happening inside there. Okay, now you can also set the best, you can also set the width and height based on the ratio of the image. So you can literally do anything whatever you want with the help of image. So you can also play around with the image text. You can practice by yourself as well. So okay, okay, let's explore the audio tag in HTML. Okay, so why we need to use the audio tag? Audio is used to embed the audio element inside the web page. Okay, how you can use the audio element inside the web page? Okay, first of all, you have to open up the audio tag from the HTML. Okay, and then you have to provide the source of the audio, how your file is located. Okay, look at this audio is located in my current directory. That's why I will provide the relative paths. Okay, there it will be what, so that exact path. That's it. Now I don't, okay, I don't need to, by the way, this is a self-closing tag, so you don't need to provide anything there. So okay, after this, okay, so you don't need to, by the way, this is not a self-closing tag, so it's an starting, it also have a starting tag and ending tag. So image and video tags are the self-closing tag. Okay, so now I want to provide the control for me. Okay, without, first of all, I'll show you the without control. Okay, so let's open up this. Okay, let's see, it's showing nothing. Okay, when you will provide the control, so okay, now it will show. Okay, so now it's showing everything. So okay, let's, you can you can start the sounds as well. So you can also show that it also have the download option and playback speed. Okay, now it has the playback speed as well. So okay, so now I'll show you the full style. Okay, you don't need to understand this. I want to make it everything center, so that you can see the everything clearly. Center. Okay, okay, let's open up the browser now, and then I will also provide the height. Okay, height 100 viewport. That's it. Now everything is centered. Now you can see, so it has a download and playback speed. When you click on the playback speed, so you can also change the speed of the sound, sorry, change the speed of the track. Okay, so 1.25, 1.5, 1.75, everything is available, which is exactly seen in what you have exactly seen in the YouTube right now. Okay, so everything is so decent when you will use the audio tag from the HTML audio. Okay, so this is the one way. You can also use the audio in a different way with the help of source. Okay, audio inside the audio tags. Okay, it will be the double, and then you need to provide the controls attribute. Okay, so after the control attributes, I will use what? I will use the source. So okay, inside the source, I will first, inside the source, I will first what? I'll first again the path audio.mp3, and then I need to provide the type of the audio. Okay, it will be what? Audio slash mpeg. Okay, type of mpeg. That's it. When browser doesn't support it, so I will show the one text. Okay, your browser doesn't doesn't support the audio. Okay, so that's it. Let's open up the browser. Now my browser is support the audio, so that's why it's never gonna show that message what I have written inside the Visual Studio. Okay, so let's run. You can see the. Okay, so now audio is running and audio is play the perfectly fine. Okay, yeah. Okay, so now I'll explain and I'll show you, then we'll show you how you can use the video tag inside your web page. Okay, why we need to use the web page as like before. Okay, so video text is used for showing the video element inside your web page. That's it. This is a simple definition of why you need to use the video tag. That's it. Now okay, let's open up the video text from the HTML. After that, we need to pass the source. Okay, what is the source? Source means the path of your video file. Okay, how your video file is located. My video file is located in my current directory. That name is video.mp4. That's it. So now I will bring that file and then okay, simply that's it. Now I need to provide the controls. Okay, now let's open up inside the browser. Let's see. Okay, now as you can see that, so now video is taking the full weight. Okay, now okay, let's run the video. It is taking the full width. Now I can set the width and height of the video. Okay, how can I width of this video is 500 and height of the video is 500 as well. Okay, so now it will become shrink. Okay, so now as you can see, this is so simple. So okay, I can run the video. Okay, sometimes it has a lot of things. So it has a playback speed, or you can also picture in picture. You can also see the picture in there, like exactly as the what you have seen in YouTube as well. Okay, so you can also make it in that way. So okay, that is so simple, so nothing is difficult in there. So now that one is the one way of showing the video in your web page. Okay, we have another way as like exactly as the audio element what I have mentioned or what I have shown. Okay, let's open up the video. Oh, sorry, not deep, by the way. So video. Okay, and okay, let's remove this and then create and use the control attribute. So inside it I need to pass the source. Okay, source will be what? Inside the source I need to pass the exact source. Okay, exact path of the video. Okay, so that's it, video path, and then type video slash mp4. Okay, so let's see the video that means it's also showing the video slash mp4 is also showing exactly same. So okay, now you can also set the width and height of it, so exactly as before what I have done. Width 500 and then height will be what? Height will be the 500 as well for make the size shrink. Okay, so now it is working so fine. So why we need to use this syntax? Okay, we need to use this syntax by any chance when the videos is not supported in your browser, and then when you'll show the one message to your browser. That's it. Only for that reasons you will use that syntax. This is quite a bit of familiar for you, especially when you don't know anything about the video elements control. This syntax is when you feel it's a complex, so you can use the simple video element as well. Okay, so you will send a notice or sorry, you will send an information show into the browser. Hey, browser does not support the video element, doesn't support the video element. Okay, so by any sense when your browser doesn't support the video element, okay, it will show that message. That's it. So it's time to explain the figure and fig captions. Okay, so now first of all I will explain the advantage of using figure and fig captions. By default, figure and fig caption is recommended by the HTML teams because it will provide you three. So it will provide you the three most important things. First of all, those tags is completely SEO friendly. That means it will help you to stand out in the search list of Google. And second, so it will give you the accessibility. At the same time, the accessibility means that it will help you, the screen reader, to read your context inside the figure and fig captions. And it's pretty easy to use. Okay, so figure and fig caption is a self-contained element. Okay, that means it has a context. On the other end, when you will use the image text, okay, without any context, it's called the only content, but it's never gonna be a self-contained context. Okay, by the way, it has a self-contained context. Okay, now I'll show you through the code. Okay, first of all, let's close everything. Okay, so let's close it. Now I wanna create the one image. Okay, image text, sorry, not img. Okay, I have already shown you how to bring the image into the source. Okay, image to that. So image, that's it. So after that I want to provide the width and height, so that I make the image shrink with 500 and height 500. Now let's open the browser. Now you can see, but I don't know anything about the what it image does, even what about the images. Okay, I don't have any idea about this image. But in case when you would use the figure and fig caption, you will get the context about that image. Okay, how you can get the context about that image? First of all, you have to use the figure. Inside the figure you need to provide the image. Okay, for my source will be the image, and then the width and height. Sorry, first of all I provide the alt text. Alt text will be what? Alt text will be provide the image, and then width and height. Width of the image will be the 500 for make the image shrinkable, because the original size of the image is bigger than that. Okay, and then height of it will be what? 500 as well. So yeah, and then after the fig caption, so inside the fig caption I will provide the context for this image. Okay, this is the that's or I can that's image explaining about the AWS services. Okay, now I have provided the what? Now, I have provided the captions about that particular image what I have using inside it. Okay, now you can see that. Okay, that image. Now when user seen this, it has a clear idea or the clear context about that image. Okay, this is not a meaningless image right now, it's a meaningful image. Okay, this is the one way when you want to write a code. Okay, so inside a figure, inside a figure I want to write a code, JavaScript code. Okay, so first of all, inside a you already know about the but code. The code means you write the code inside a code. Okay, so it will be const name or const as const name equal my name. That's it. Now I want to console it. So this is the complete JavaScript code, console.log name. That's it. After that, so I want to provide the fig caption inside after the free tag. I will create the fig caption. Inside the fig caption I will provide the context about the text about the code what I have written inside it. Okay, this code, this is the S code, console the name. Okay, console the name. That's it. That means it will provide the context about those code what I have written inside the free and code element. Okay, so now you can see, so this is exactly that's it. Okay, the code, the names, and that one. Okay, this JS code, console the name. Okay, now I have a better context than without using this. Okay, when I will wrote, the instead of using this, when I wrote the only code, code inside the code I will provide the what, so const name equal name equal my names, and then console it to the terminal, console dot log and the name. That's it. But right now I don't have any context, and even this is completely meaningless, but I don't know what I'm doing right now. Okay, this is completely meaningless. At that moment you need to know the context about it, about the code. Okay, what it does and how we are using it. Okay, so in that case, in that particular case, figure and fig caption will be stand out, and this is basically SEO friendly and also recommended by the HTML for using over other tag like a deep tab. Okay, now I'll explain the order list. Okay, how can I create the order list in HTML? Okay, with the help of UL and LI tags. Okay, so obviously for creating the order list, an order list, you need to use the UL tag. Okay, so inside the UL you have to create the LI tags. Okay, list. Inside an order list you have to create the list. Okay, list and one HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's it. Now when I open up the browser and reload, let's see, so it's showing probably fine. But now I want to change this. This bolt icon. Okay, this bullet point. Okay, so I want to make it circle. So okay, you need to provide the type of type of this circle. circle. When you provide the circle, it became the circle. Okay, now it became the circle. Okay, now you can also make it a square as well. Okay, square as well. You can it's now it's become the square. Okay, this is absolutely fine, right? So it's now it has a three type. One, okay, the default one is in disk, second one is circle, and third one is a square, what we have written right now. Okay, okay, so now I'll explain the order list. Okay, so why we need to use the order list? All order list is used to display the sequence manner in a sequence manner. Okay, first of all, you have to, okay, so this is the OL order list. Inside order list I need to create the LI. Okay, again I'll use the HTML, sorry, it's not HTML tag, by the way. HTML, CSS, JS, and TS. That's it. After all of that, so okay, let's open up the browser and let's see the result. Okay, now it should, by default it's in a numbering system. So now I have to change the sequence to A. Okay, so now I can change the type of it. So type will be what? Type will be A. Type will be, so now you can see the type is A. Okay, now it's a start from the A, so A, B, C, D. Okay, in an alphabetic order. So okay, now you can use the that was the capital, then one is that one. Okay, now you see the smaller A, B, C, and D. If you don't want to use it, you can use the Roman. Okay, so that one is Roman numeric sign. Okay, that again, that one is show it in sequences order. Okay, so after that it has another. Okay, so now you can see everything is looking so good with the, now when you want to create something in a sequence order, obviously you can use the order list or an order list. This is completely up to you. So now it's time to explain the description list. Okay, so the description list is used for the pair the terms and their descriptions. Okay, so first of all we need to create the description container. Okay, what it does, description list is means that it's in a description container. It's considered as a description container. And then dt means a description terms. Okay, inside this I will provide the HTML. After that if I want to provide the definition of it, I will provide what, so description dd. Okay, inside it I will provide the hypertext, or I will provide the definition of it. So this hypertext markup language. Okay, so when I open up the browser and you will see the result. Okay, so this is the terms and that one is the definition of it. Okay, so now let's create another terms with definitions. Okay, now it's css so it's the cascading style sheet. Okay, so the exactly that way you will find you need to create the pair terms with the definitions. Sorry, pair term with the description. Obviously you can use the list display. You can use the description list. Okay. Okay, let's explore the table. Okay, before move to the table basics, so first of all I will explain the definition of table. Okay, why you need to use the table? So basically we need to use the table only for the one reason, for when you want to organize your data into table row and a column. At that moment obviously you have to use the table. Okay, right now, so now css has a flexbox and grid. Obviously before the css have the flexbox and grid, the most of the developer is used to organize their data into the table. Okay, so table was the most obviously first of all you need to understand the layout of the table. Okay, so that's why I will create this one of the basic tables so that you can understand it, and I'll explain. After that I will create a bit complex than before. Okay, so first of all, so when you want to create the table, you have to bring the table, okay, table text from this table. After that you have to create the row. Okay, when you want to create the row, you need to use the tr tag. Okay, inside the tr tag I will create the table heading. Okay, for creating the table heading I need to use the tas tag. Inside the tas, so I will provide what, okay, I'll provide, first of all for the course name, and then so after that I will create another table heading. Okay, so and then second one will be duration, and third one will be the price. Okay, t and then price. That's it. Now that is the, okay, sorry, Okay, that is the row of heading, table heading. Okay, this is the first row of the table heading. Now I will create the rest of the heading for as in table data. Okay, so again I will create the table row. Inside the table row I'll provide the td means table data. Okay, inside table data I will first, okay, exactly like this course name, or it's an HTML. Okay, after that, so I will create another table data. Inside the table data, what is this? Okay, this is the duration for the 2 weeks. Okay, 2 weeks. After that, so it has what, it has a price. Okay, what will be the price of it? So price will be inside the table data. I will provide the price, so price is $50. That's it. So and then let's open up the browser, let's see the result. Okay, now you can see the things, but I want to provide the border of it. Okay, if you want to bring the border inside the table, you have to provide the border one. Okay, now I have a problem. Now it's giving now it's given the double border, but I want to I want to delete the double border. Okay, for this you need to use the one. Okay, you need to want the simple property called the inside a style border collapse collapse. That's it. Now it will show you one border. That's it. Now you can create as many items as you want. Okay, so that one is a fast row. Okay, fine, that one is the fast row, so you can create as many row as you want. Okay, second row, and first one is an HTML. Okay, second, okay, third row, that one is the S. Okay, so it's in 2 week, it's in $100. Okay, and third one is CSS. Okay, again it's one is, well, it's one is 4 week, and that one is $70. Okay, so like this you can organize your data inside the table. Okay, so that's it. Now you can see the HTML, CSS, and the S, it's showing perfectly fine. Now it has something semantic element. Okay, for this you can wrap everything inside a let t head. Okay, inside the t head, you can paste this. Okay, it's nothing showing, but this is helpful for the SEO. Okay, now I will remove, okay, collapse everything. I'll wrap inside the table body, T body, Control G, and T body. Also inside the T body, I'll paste everything. Okay, this is the this is the semantic element for the table, so that it can understand the browser. Okay, T body element represent a block of row that consists of a body of data for the its parent element. Okay, if the body element has a parent and it's in a table. Okay, so you already know the definition of it. Table body is used for the organized data inside its body. Okay, so it has a okay, how many rows is there? It has only 3 rows. Okay, now it will organize perfectly inside that body. Okay, so now it has another semantic element. It's called what? It's called the table for t foot. Inside the t foot, you will provide the you will provide the footer of the table. Okay, so let's assume so in footer td main footer or something like I don't know the name of it. So, okay, so let's see. So now it's given the one row. That's it. Now I want to take this full weight of it. Okay, so okay, it will take the full row. So how can I do? Row span. So row span. Okay, so the row span. That will be the row span. Row span will be 2. Row span will be 3. Okay, it will take the 3. Or that, I think this not work. 2. It's perfect. Okay. Sorry. That will be the call span. To the call span. Call span will be 2. Will take the 2 row. When I will use the column span 3, it will take the 3 columns. Okay, it will take the 3 columns. Now it will taken, it's taken the 3 columns. Now I can make it center. Okay, so how can I text style? Okay, text align center. Okay, now so now it's moved to the center. Okay, so you can organize the table data in your own way. So not only that, you can also provide the inside the table t body, inside the t body, inside the t body row span. Okay, it doesn't have a row span. So okay, table row span. Sorry, it doesn't have a row span. So row span 2, row span is 3. let's see. It's taken the 3 row. Okay, now HTML taken the 3 row. Okay, so I think you got it, how to organize the table in HTML. Okay, so now it's time to explain one of the most important and most useful tags in HTML. It's called the forms. Okay, so why we need to use the forms? Before using the form, I will give you the definition of forms. Okay, form is used only for taking the information from the user. Okay, let's assume when you want to create the you want to take the authentications information from the user, like username, password, and then others contact information. So at that moment you have to use the forms. Okay, in that particular moment you will use the HTML tag of HTML form text. Okay, so and this is not only the one thing, this is not only the one use case as well. So okay, when you want to do the kind of policy supply related a survey, so for taking the information from the user, you can also use the HTML form for taking the information from users. Okay, that's why HTML form is so useful when you are taking the most validatable, more obviously after taking the information from the user, now you need to take the validate. Okay, you need to take the validation for of those taken informations. Okay, through the HTML form, it has an HTML5 provide the built-in validation for the forms. Okay, now you can easily validate all of those data which you have taken from the users. Okay, so now I will show you step by step how you can use the form inside your code. Okay, so let's close everything. So first of all, I will delete everything. Okay, now I will start with a simple forms. Okay, form, inside a form. Okay, it has actions, action, method, enc type, and all others attributed out there. Okay, but for the sake of simplicity, and we're gonna use all of this, because when you use the form with PHP, you can use action for taking the informations from the user and send it to the server. Okay, when you send it to the server will process all of this data, and then after that it will store in the database. After storing successfully store into the database, it will send a response from the client. Okay, when it will accept the client response, it will finally shown in the client, it will finally shown in the web page. Okay, this exact scenario happen in case of when you will use the PHP with HTML. Okay, in forms. Okay, form is so important things when you want to take the informations. Okay, so I will use the so simple way. Okay, first of all, I will provide the I'll create the one symbol labels. Okay, inside the label I will provide the for means the name. Okay, and then I will create the one I want input type. The type of the input will be fill. Yes, the type of the input will be text input, and the type of input will be text, and then or ID of the what ID will be what, I will be the name, because when I click on a label, the input will be get selected. Only for the reasons I have provide the ID, and then I will provide the placeholder. Okay, placeholder which will shown, and then placeholder is within an input box. Okay, so enter your name. That's it. Now let's open up the browser and let's see the result. Okay, now now the input box is not selected. When I click on email name, the input box gets selected. Okay, so this is happening with the help of for inside the label. Okay, so yeah, so this is pretty useful and handy for using it. Okay, name, so it has another type of field as well, so this is for one. Okay, now let's create for the email. Okay, so email, after that I will sense it for email. Okay, email, and then it will be what, that will be the type of email, not a text. Okay, now let's open up the browser, let's see. Okay, now after that, so I will provide the br. Okay, for taking the start from the new line. Okay, so that one is what, that was name, and for second one is email. Okay, when I want to pass the text inside the email box, this. Okay, now I need to change the placeholder as well. Okay, email, that's it. Now when I'm trying to send something, this is not okay. A form on submit, on submit. Okay, you can provide the on submit. Okay, so why you need to provide the on submit, within the forms you have to provide the button, call the type of button will be the submit. When you provide the on submit, you will call the one handler. Okay, inside that handler you need to provide the functions. Okay, for accepting all of those data what you are using inside the form, so like input, the email, password, all of those related stuff inside the forms. You can accept all the value of those with the help of form data inside the function what you're using inside the on submit function. Okay, I'm never gonna make the complexity, so I'm gonna make it more complex about it. So that's why, for the sake of simplicity again, so I will remove it. So yeah, so everything is now this is completely bullet. How you also type something different than the type of email, it will never gonna accept, because the type of the name, sorry, I need to change this there as well, because it will be what, it will be the email. Okay, and then I will use the third field will be what, third field will be the email, sorry, password. Okay, so that will be the password. After that, I will change the label of password. That's so simple. And the type of will be what, password. That's it. Now ID will be what, ID will be the password, and then enter your password, enter your password. That's it. This is so simple to get started, so this is not a big deal right now. So now simply pass the br. So after the br, for I want to start the from the next line. Okay, so that's fine. So when I type something, so now it becomes this password. Okay, now as you can see, so now it has a built-in visibility things. Okay, it has a built, so this is the feature of HTML5. Okay, so before HTML4 this wasn't exist, right? Okay, so let's remove everything. It's so simple. Okay, now I click on this icon, so it will be visible. Okay, when I click next, it's invisible. Okay, this is the tutorial. So simple. Okay, with the help of React, you can easily create this. This is so simple to creation. Okay, so now you can also create the radio buttons. Okay, if I type radio, so now I'll show you the radio. So inside the inside input, okay, type radio, so id will be what, id will be the radio, id will be radio, and I need to provide the name. Oh, okay, let's assume so gender, and then value male. Okay, so now id will be the male, value will be male. Okay, and then I'll provide the email, sorry, male and female. So gender id will be female. Okay, what it does, radio will give you a couple of options, but you can pick one from the set of choice. Okay, so now you can select either one, two. Okay, you can select both. Okay, you have an a set of choice, but you can pick only one. Okay, when the name should be different, you can literally select both, but when the name will be the same, you have to select one single item. Okay, this is called the radio. And then we'll also create the, okay, this, oh, okay, so now I'll create the checkbox. Okay, checkbox input checkbox. Okay, inside the checkbox I need to provide the name. So again, name will be the name will be gender, and then id will be male, and then value will be male. That's it. So not make by the way, male. Okay, after that I will create another checkbox. Inside the checkbox, okay, I need to rename, sorry, I need to change the id to female. That's it. Now I also need to change the value to the female. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so now let's head back to the Visual Studio, and okay, sorry, not head back to the browser, and let's click on it. Now you can see the checkbox is also working exactly, but in case of checkbox you can select both. Okay, but in case of radio you can select only one. Okay, you have to remember this. Now let's talk about the button. Okay, inside a button, so now I can create the button. Okay, button type submit, button type reset, submit, and button. Okay, submit is useful when you want to send submit, when you want to send something to the server with the help of clicking that buttons. Okay, so that's why it's useful. Now for the sake of simplicity I want to remove it. Okay, so it's just when we will create the course with JavaScript, then I'll show you how to send the, how to grab the information from the users and I'll send to the send to the server. Okay, server will accept those data what you're sending from the client, and it will receive. After receiving, it will finally validate it. After the validation, it will send the data, or it will save all of those data what you have sent to the server. It will, and then finally it will save into the database. After saved, its database will respond something. Okay, your data has been save into the database, then you will send that exact response which sent it by database. You will send that exact response to the client. Okay, and then when your client receive the response, you will show into the web page. That's a simple strategies happen. Okay, nothing built in, nothing is complicated inside there. Okay, so I think we have an idea about the forms, how you can use the forms, how you can create the complete form inside the HTML with the help of form and others related tag. Okay, so let's explain the text area and select. Okay, so when you want to take something, when you want to take the description kind of thing from the user, at that moment you will use the text area. Okay, or when you have a kind of a big, or obviously when you need to take the big content from the user at the time. Okay, let's assume when you are building an e-commerce application, at that moment you want to take the product descriptions. Okay, when you take the product description, at that moment the content of the size would make bigger, right? So at that moment obviously you have to provide the text area. With the half of text area you can take the bigger text, okay, as compared to the text type of the text input. Okay, so that's why we will use the text area. So inside the text area, name it. So I simply name the description id, description, that's it. So and then rows and columns, 10 rows. Okay, that's it. I've just given the 10 rows, that's it. How does it show? How does it display? Okay, now I can see now this is completely resizable. Okay, so you can resize the checkbox, sorry, you can resize the text area. That's it. So after that, so we'll create the select. Now inside this select, okay, select, you need to provide the name, subject id, subject. Okay, select, we need to provide the option. Inside the option I will provide the economics. Okay, so now let's head right there. So now you click on subject, you can see huge amount of options out there. You can select one of them. So now I'll say this. Okay, so first one is economics. Okay, second one is BBA, MBA, BSc, MBBS. Okay, this kind of things you can obviously that kind of options you can provide into the select options. Okay, and head back to there. Now you'll select, okay, the BBA is shown, MBA is selected, BSc is selected, and BBS is selected. Okay, this is the simplest way of creating the select. Okay, so yeah, okay, all right. So now I'll explain the HTML semantic element. What does it mean? Okay, HTML semantic means it has a meaning. Okay, instead of using generic deep element, you can use the heading. Okay, so you can use the footer, you can use the main, aside, all of those meaningful tag. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, it has a meaning when you work in a development team. Okay, now you are creating the header with the help of deep element without using heading. Okay, at that moment, at that moment you're never gonna get any idea about it, what it does. Okay, you write the code, but your co-worker don't know anything about your code meanings. Okay, so now this is the header. You can create this exact header with the help of what? With the help of header semantic element. But you can also create that exact HTML header with the help of deep element. But that one has a meaning. Okay, so that specific one has a meaning, but that don't have a meaning. Because when you're working in a team, your co-worker don't know anything about it, because this is completely kind of generic things. Okay, you are using the deviation tag. Okay, but it doesn't have any meaning, it doesn't have any literal meaning of it. At the same time, this is not SEO friendly, this is not accessibility friendly. That means screen reader will skip it. Okay, for that reason you will use, and HTML team also recommend to use HTML team also recommend you to use the semantic element, not only the header. When you want to create the footer, you can also use the semantic element footer. Okay, instead of using deep. But when you want to create the footer with the help of deep or footer semantic element, this never gonna have any difference. Okay, but it will create the one significant amount of information inside your HTML code for your co-worker or the backend systems. Okay, so on your code can see, oh, that's a footer. Okay, so I know that this is the footer. When he see the main, okay, so this is the main area of the content. Yeah, when he see the side, okay, this is the sidebar, right? So he will get the literal meaning of it when he's seen the particular tag. Okay, that's why you need to use the HTML. Not only that, it has a header. So now I will show you a couple of, so and now I will give you a couple of a couple of semantic text. So header, footer, section, aside, and so, and then what, so aside, and a lot of things. Okay, all of those is meaningful text. That means when you will use those, it has a meaning. That means you can create anything without using those. You can, instead of using those, you can use the HTML div element. Okay, this is absolutely fine, but it doesn't have any meaning. But in case of those, it has a meaning. This is pretty good to start, or this is pretty good to build your web application through this meaningful tag. Okay, so when I want to create the navbar, okay, let's assume, so I want to create the navbar. Okay, instead of using nav, so when I want to create, okay, let's remove this first. When I want to create the navbar, so I can create the nav. Okay, inside the nav, so I can provide the logo. After that, source bar, and after all of that, so the right section, so the right section will be the right section. Like in when you take the e-commerce website as an instance, so you can create the cart icon, heart icon, and then login or logout state. Okay, so this, you can, instead of using this, you can use what, you can use the div element. This is absolutely fine. Okay, this, you don't have any restriction to use the div over the HTML, or over the nav. Okay, but when you will use the nav, it has a secret meaning. When you use the nav, it has an accessibility, that's in accessibility friendly and SEO friendly for your browser. Browser will better understand over the HTML div element. Okay, this is the pretty generic. Okay, everyone using is okay. For the rest things, you can literally use the div, but for the meaningful things like a navbar, like a header, like a footer, like aside, like main, all of those, please use the semantic element. Okay, so that's it.